So this is Checkbook IRA with an important news flash pertaining to your IRA. We all want our IRAs to be spent by those that we love and that we want to pass it on to, the beneficiaries. And we know who they are. We filled out a slip and sent it to the custodian. But don't be too sure who's going to spend your IRA. It may end up in the hands of a creditor thanks to a new Supreme Court ruling. A Supreme Court ruling that a lot of people don't even know about. And as a result, in some sort of lawsuit, divorce, ugly situation, your beneficiaries could actually not get a dime of your IRA that you have given to them. I mean, this is a very, very serious situation here. It was a 9-0 ruling, and so it's not going to get turned over anytime soon. I mean, it's not a 5-4, and you think, well, the court moves. No, it's 9-0. They ruled inherited IRAs are not protected from creditors. So that means it's open season. It's the same as any other asset. So if your heirs were to get in a car wreck and get sued, they used to think that your IRA, if they inherited it, would be protected from that because it's for retirement. But it lost all of that protection. So unless you do something different, additional steps, it has no more protection than leaving them a big fat savings account in their personal name. None, zero, no protection. So that may be news. Maybe you've done something. Maybe you've taken care of all of that. I mean, there are many, many people that have done no steps whatsoever. There are a lot of financial professionals out there that don't even know about this. This is a very serious situation. So let's talk about the case for just a minute. It was Heidi Clark inherited $450,000 from her mother in her mother's IRA. So it was an inherited IRA. She decided when her mom passed that she would take the distributions over her lifetime, over Heidi's lifetime. So about 10 years into it, there was still $300,000 left, and she and her husband Heidi, they filed bankruptcy. They had a pizza, restaurant. It didn't work out. They filed bankruptcy, and the trustee Raymaker said, "We're going to grab that $300,000 and pay the creditors." She said, "Whoa, wait a minute." So she lawyered up, and it went to the district court, and the district court said, "No, that $300,000 is IRA money. That's protected money." So then they went at it again, and it went on up to the circuit court. And the circuit court overruled the district court and said, no, that money is up for grabs. And it finally ended up at the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said that an inherited IRA is not for the beneficiary's retirement based upon 3 points. Number one, they can't put any more money into it, so Congress must not have meant the inherited IRA to be for the beneficiary's retirement. Number two, they have to take money out every single year. Even if they're 8 years old when they inherit the IRA, they have to start taking money out. Well, therefore, that doesn't make sense if you meant for the beneficiary to use this for their retirement. And then number three, you can take all the money out at any time without any penalty. So the court said it must not have been designed for the beneficiary's retirement. So it's just another asset. No different than a checking account, no different than inheriting a rental house. Talk about a big fat target for a lawsuit. And don't think that 401ks are going to escape. Just because it wasn't mentioned, the 401k is cut from the same cloth. If you inherit a 401k, a solo K, whatever kind of inherited 401k, if you inherit it, you have to take money out every year. You can't put any more money in it, and you can take it all out without penalty. So it all fits the same thing. So just because they didn't address it, the 401k is in danger as well. So we need to have some sort of defense. Maybe you have that handled. Maybe you've taken care of that. Maybe you have a really great financial advisor that's explained this to you, and as a result, he's moved you over into a really great defense. But then again, maybe they haven't. So there really is a better way, and we have that better way. It's called the Fort Trust. And the Fort Trust is stands for Family-Owned Retirement Trust. And once you get into it, it is safe, it is strong, it can protect your retirement in the hands of the beneficiaries. It can keep it safe and keep it strong against any kind of outside force. You can still have some control, by the way. When you make the trust the beneficiary of the IRA, and then you take your beneficiaries and make them the beneficiary of the trust. So now they don't own anything, but they get the benefit. So if they are sued, it's safe, it's strong. You can have some controls in there. You could actually say, well, I don't want this beneficiary to get any money other than minimum distributions, which are required. But until they're 21, or until they get married, or until they get out of college, or whatever, you can actually have some control even after your death. It's very inexpensive. I mean, we're talking under $500, and it takes just about a week and a half to get set up. It's easy. You provide the beneficiary's name, who your custodian is. We're going to tell the custodian that the trust is the new beneficiary. And when the trust is put together, it meets all the criteria that the IRS has for a trust to be the beneficiary of an IRA. And you're off and running. You have protection, you have control, it's safe, it's easy, it's ready to go to protect your people. Now, with a beneficiary, we'd all like to know what the future is, but really we don't know what lies ahead as much as we'd like to. And we're all old enough to realize that things happen. And so if your beneficiary gets a big chunk of money and just lands in their lap, no trust, no trustee, no protection, it belongs to them, what happens if they're in a lawsuit? Well, that money's gone. Where the trust, it belongs to the trust, and the trustee can protect it. What about if they go through a nasty divorce? We'd love them all to have happy marriages and live happily ever after, but we know that doesn't happen all the time. So a nasty divorce, a lot of times that person that you may not even know, they may get married after you're gone. And that spouse, that gold digger, ends up with a big chunk of your retirement account. Or perhaps they become addicted. Well, the trustee can control that. They have to give them minimum distributions, but they control other certain amounts. Or even now, if they're addicted, you could still put them in the trust as a beneficiary. So the IRA goes to the trust, and then the trustee, you could write in there that this one particular beneficiary only gets the minimum amount until they're clean. So it gives you a lot of control there. They can be in an accident and get sued, and again, run into tax problems. This trust will even protect you against even IRS liens. So maybe your professional has you all handled. They've taken care of everything, and you feel totally confident with their knowledge and the way they're looking out for you. Or maybe the fog lifts and you realize that you're in a lot more precarious situation than what you thought. We really have three goals with the Fort: to keep that retirement safe, to be able to control who benefits it, and to keep it in a tax-friendly environment. And these are important. So first of all, when we're talking about being safe, we really we have so much control here. It's easily changed until you die. So you can just add people, do whatever, but as soon as you pass away, it becomes instantly irrevocable. And that means that's really when the key gets locked and no one can break into that. But you still have a certain amount of control through the trustee even after you pass. It'll work well with any retirement plan at all, whether it's just you got a stock account someplace, or you have control with a checkbook IRA or a solo 401k, whatever. It works with any plan at all because it's the beneficiary. As soon as the person passes, the plan or the fort actually comes into existence and becomes this trust. And you can still keep the tax favorable status of the IRA. It can still keep earning and so forth with that. So there's a lot of different things. For example, you had a special needs child or maybe a minor. you can write them in as the beneficiary and the trustee can take care of them. If maybe you get some help financially from the government with someone, they wouldn't lose that because they don't get the money. They are just simply the beneficiary of the trust. Or like with a minor, you can help control that as well. You can control how much money comes in and comes out by giving the trustee that control. And obviously, you're going to be able to protect your family from all kinds of outside bad things that would come along. And it's something that's kind of cool. You can even add someone that's not born yet. Maybe you have children and they haven't, you pass away and they haven't had any kids yet. You could actually write into the trust that if they have any kids, that they get to be added to the trust as a beneficiary. And if you're a little bit concerned about how money's going to be handled, instead of just dropping this money in the hands of kids or even a grieving spouse, you could actually write in there that the trustee has to go hire a money manager. So there's lots of control you can have. And we want the IRA, the plan, to continue to grow. So it's called a stretch IRA, meaning you can stretch it out over their lifetime and they can keep what they inherited from you. They don't have to pay tax on it yet. They pay a little bit each year on the required minimum distributions, or anything they take out, they pay tax. But they're allowed to keep it in there and keep it earning and stretch it out over their lifetime. Well, you can do that with the Fort. The trust is the beneficiary, so the IRA continues to earn, and then it goes into the trust and goes out to the beneficiaries. And you can take that over the lifetime of the oldest person that is a beneficiary of that trust. So wouldn't that be nice for them to inherit that and to be able to keep earning in either a tax-free, in the case of a Roth, or a tax-deferred status? So they keep on going, they keep earning, they take some money out, but in the meantime, they're able to stretch those earnings out over their lifetime. Now, if they have a checkbook IRA, which what we set up for our clients, the beneficiary, all of them or one of them, can become the manager of the IRA LLC. And so if you have rental properties or notes in there or whatever asset you have in there, they will be able to manage that asset because the IRA owns the LLC. The LLC's out there earning things. They can manage it. And then the profits go to the beneficiary, which is the trust, which then flows down to the client, down to your beneficiary. It's perfect for self-directed 401ks. And they can actually take over and be the trustee of that solo 401k plan. And if you have non-traditional assets, you don't have to liquidate them. If you've got rental houses and stuff like that, you can just keep them in there and keep on going with the trust. So really, it's important to act before it's too late. It's too late whenever you're already out in the water drowning, or whenever the red alert goes off. So the family-owned retirement trust is really the answer. And let's face it, you've worked really hard to get to the top. And wouldn't it be a real tragedy to be able to set that all up, and just because some plan manager didn't tell you about it, or you're out there busy living your life and you didn't read about this Supreme Court ruling, that you end up, your hard-earned assets go to not who you wanted, to end up going like Heidi Clark's mother's money. A lot of that money, $300,000 plus Heidi's $125,000 in fees, went to creditors. So there are some steps here we can take. We can there'll be a little button here you can click and fill out a request for the brochure. And you're really only about a week away before we can be set up. And it's less than $500. So just simply click on this link for your brochure, and we'll add you to the mailing list. We'll send you out some updates. You need to get updates from us. We are on top of this. So if you don't know about this, you certainly would be understandable if you were a little bit irate and upset with your professional. So wouldn't it be nice to be able to still have a hand in their life even while you're gone, to make sure that they're on the right track? Well, it could certainly be a lot better off if you can take the time and put together a Fort Trust. So we at Checkbook IRA will take good care of you. We're professionals. We've been at it a long time. Give us a call, and you're on your way to financial freedom and protection with a Fort Trust.